Have you ever felt that someone persistently occupies your thoughts, as if a part of their energy is intertwined with yours? Perhaps it has happened to you at the most unexpected moments, prompting you to wonder, could it be possible that this person is also thinking of me? Although this may seem like a mystery, it could actually be rooted in something deeper than we imagine. Carl Jung, the renowned Swiss psychologist, devoted much of his life to exploring the mysteries of the mind and human connections. Jung believed that our minds are not isolated entities, they are connected through a collective unconscious, a vast network of symbols, archetypes, and energies shared by all of humanity. According to his theories, this invisible connection transcends time and space, allowing us to sense the presence of others even when they are far away. Today, science is beginning to shape what Jung intuited decades ago. Recent studies in neuroscience have shown that our minds can synchronize with those of people with whom we share significant bonds. It's as if there exists an energetic dance between individuals, a form of communication that requires neither words nor gestures. But what if this is only the beginning? What if those recurring thoughts about someone are a sign, a message from the universe or our subconscious, inviting us to uncover something deeper about ourselves? Today, we will delve into these invisible threads that connect us. We'll explore how these connections shape our lives, influence our emotions, and help us find answers to questions we didn't even know we had. Human connections transcend the obvious. What we feel, think, and experience seems to form part of an invisible fabric that binds us to others. For Carl Jung, this phenomenon was grounded in the collective unconscious, a shared repository of human experiences that connects us psychologically and spiritually. But what does modern science have to say about this? Advances in neuroscience have uncovered something fascinating. Our brains have the ability to synchronize with those of individuals we share meaningful bonds with. This phenomenon, known as neural coupling, demonstrates that the brain activity of two people can align during interaction, even without words. It's as if our minds tune into the same melody within an invisible symphony. Beyond words, this connection can occur through glances, thoughts, or even over distances. Studies have shown that intense emotions, such as love, empathy, or shared pain, generate similar electrical patterns in the brains of the people involved. In a way, our thoughts and feelings seem to project onto others, like waves traveling through a shared energy field. Jung described this connection with the concept of synchronicity, the idea that certain events occur simultaneously, seemingly without causal relation, but with profound symbolic meaning. For instance, thinking about someone and receiving a message from them shortly after, or finding an object that evokes a shared moment. While science cannot fully explain these phenomena, it does acknowledge that our minds are far more interconnected than we once imagined. This discovery shifts our understanding of reality. We are no longer isolated beings navigating a disconnected world. We are part of a network, a continuous flow of energy and thought that binds us in ways we are only beginning to uncover. As we begin to grasp that our minds and energies are connected beyond what is visible, an inevitable question arises: what does a true spiritual connection feel like? Sometimes, these connections don't announce themselves with grand signs, yet their impact is unmistakable. It all begins with a sense of peace that is not easily explained. When you're near that person, it feels as if time stands still and all worries fade away. It's not about perfection or everything always being easy, but about the calmness that only comes when energies are aligned. It's the feeling of being home, even when you're far from it. Another key aspect is understanding without words. The connection is so natural that you don't need to explain much, the other person simply understands. It's as if you share a private language, invisible to others but perfectly clear between you. The deepest part of these connections is that they don't aim to fill voids or impose needs. Instead, they push you to grow, to look within, and to discover parts of yourself that you may have ignored. However, not all spiritual connections are simple. Some can awaken intense or even painful emotions because they come to teach you something. Their purpose is not always to stay, but to help you heal wounds, close cycles, or awaken an inner calling you've neglected. There are connections that, even though brief or unfinished, transform us deeply. These are the bonds that come into our lives, ignite something powerful within, and, when they end, leave a mix of questions, nostalgia, and often pain. But behind that initial suffering lies an invaluable opportunity to grow, to heal, and to better understand ourselves. The pain we feel when a relationship doesn't unfold as we hoped can be devastating, but it's not a punishment or a sign of failure. It's a silent teacher, forcing us to pause and look inward. Often, these incomplete connections act as mirrors, reflecting our deepest wounds, fear of rejection, the need for approval, or a lack of self-love. They expose the parts of ourselves that we've ignored or buried but that need attention to heal. Sometimes, these relationships arrive with a very specific purpose, to help us confront our shadows. These people aren't always meant to stay, but their presence leaves lessons that, if recognized, propel us toward a stronger, more authentic version of ourselves. These incomplete connections teach us that we can't always control what happens, but we can control how we choose to respond. It's common to cling to the idea of what could have been. We fantasize about alternate endings and torment ourselves with questions. What did I do wrong? What if I had acted differently? However, the real challenge is learning to let go. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or diminishing what happened. On the contrary, it means honoring the experience, being grateful for what it taught us, and accepting that its purpose has been fulfilled. This act of release not only allows us to move forward but also creates space for new opportunities and connections that are more aligned with our current growth. Thinking constantly about someone who is no longer in your life, or about a relationship that didn't materialize, can be one of the most universal yet deeply personal experiences. Particularly when it comes to unrequited love, the kind of connection that makes us feel vulnerable and exposed. It's easy to fall into the trap of believing there's something wrong with us for loving without being loved in return, but this experience is not a mistake. It is a spiritual lesson that shows us the most important love is the one we must learn to give ourselves. Relationships that don't come to fruition have a greater purpose, to teach us the art of detachment. They're not here to fill our voids or complete what we feel is missing. They are here to help us recognize that what we seek in others must first be cultivated within ourselves. They challenge us to stop depending on external validation and to find strength in self-love. They teach us that letting go is not an act of weakness but of profound wisdom. Closing an emotional cycle doesn't mean forgetting or dismissing what we felt. Instead, it involves embracing the experience with gratitude, even if it was painful. It's about recognizing that the person or relationship entered our life for a purpose, and once that purpose has been fulfilled, it's time to release them with love. This act of letting go not only heals us but also creates space for new experiences and relationships that align more closely with our true essence. To move beyond the impact of an incomplete connection, it's essential to reconnect with your core self. This involves accepting both your light and shadow, understanding that love should not depend on someone else's validation. When we learn to enjoy our own company, we stop searching for in others what already exists within us. This internal shift transforms how we relate to others, allowing us to connect from a place of authenticity and balance, rather than lack or need. Unrequited love, no matter how painful, does not define our story's end. It's a chapter that challenges us to view ourselves with compassion and to build a strong, loving relationship with ourselves. By embracing this form of self-love, we discover the strength to let go of what isn't meant for us and to open ourselves to new possibilities. Rather than being an obstacle, pain becomes a path to personal and spiritual growth. Not everything is shrouded in uncertainty. Have you ever wondered if those small signs you notice are more than mere coincidences? Perhaps it's a word someone said that reminded you of another person, or an object appearing just as you were thinking of someone special. These experiences, known as synchronicities, are like winks from the universe, small pieces connecting our lives in unexpected yet profoundly meaningful ways. Carl Jung described synchronicity as the connection between events that, while seemingly unrelated, carry a deep and personal significance. These signs are not random, they are the universe's way of inviting us to pause, reflect, and ask, what am I meant to learn from this? What message does this experience hold? When someone repeatedly comes to mind, and you begin noticing signs related to them, it's not a coincidence. It's a manifestation of the energy you share with them, an indication that something needs attention or understanding. The purpose of these synchronicities isn't always clear at first. Sometimes, they arrive to remind us of important lessons or to nudge us toward changes we've been resisting. Not every soul is meant to stay, but even fleeting encounters can leave lasting impacts. Recognizing these signs requires mindfulness and a willingness to reflect. What is this experience trying to show me? How can I learn from it to move forward? By paying attention to these signals, we can uncover the deeper meaning behind our connections and experiences. They remind us that we're part of a vast and interconnected web of energies, where nothing is truly random, and every moment holds potential for growth. Letting go of what no longer defines you is not losing, it's liberating. It's looking back at the past with gratitude and toward the future with hope. Sometimes, life asks us to release what we cherish most, not as a punishment, but because it knows our growth lies beyond what we can see right now. Holding on to pain, memories, or people who are no longer part of our journey only keeps us stuck in a place that no longer belongs to us. Letting go. A simple word, yet it can feel almost impossible when your heart clings to what is no longer there. We often think that letting go means losing, but in reality, it's the opposite. Letting go is freeing, it's a gift we give ourselves to make space for the new and, more importantly, to reconnect with who we are. When you hold on to pain, memories, or even the idea of what could have been, it's as if you're stalling your life. Picture trying to hold water in your hands. The more you try, the more it slips away. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting or erasing the past. It means acknowledging it, being grateful for what it taught you, and allowing yourself to release it with love, freeing yourself from the weight that keeps you tied to yesterday. There are simple yet powerful ways to let go. One of them is writing. Take a moment to write a letter, not to send, but just for yourself. In that letter, pour out everything you feel toward the person or situation, the good, the bad, what you're thankful for, and even what hurt you. Then, at the end, say goodbye with kindness. This act alone can be incredibly freeing because putting your feelings into words helps you process them and begin to let them go. That said, letting go isn't easy. It takes courage. It means facing the emptiness you thought only someone else could fill and realizing that isn't the case. When you manage to release what no longer serves you, something incredible happens. You begin to reconnect with yourself. You discover that the love you've been seeking outside of you has always been within you. Today, I invite you to reflect, what lesson did that person you can't get out of your mind leave you? Instead of holding on to what was, ask yourself how you can use that experience to become stronger, wiser, and freer. because life doesn't stop. Every goodbye is a door closing to open another to something new. Thank you for trusting this space. If this is your first time here, don't forget to subscribe so we can keep growing together. See you soon, and until then, remember, you deserve all the good life has to offer. Thank you for being here.